That day, the earthquake, how it hit Tokyo or Tohoku was really shocking. So first wave came around 2:30, and then it was really big, so that people couldn't stay standing. All the office didn't collapse. So then we got on the TV and start seeing the tsunami coming. And then in the first half an hour, they show some scene where people were caught by waves. And then after that, they stopped showing that scene on the TV. Then second wave hit 45 minutes later, the same magnitude. Again, we had to stop, and then went down the desk and so on. Then we had to consider where if we want to evacuate from the building, wait outside, or stay. That was a decision we had to make. Then actually HR need to make. Then the third wave hit another like 45-50 minutes later. So we had like 3 big waves, and then keep hearing the news of the tsunami. And then our office started receiving calls from APAC office, which is in Singapore. Are you okay? Are you okay? And then we tried to call Tohoku people to identify where they are. Couldn't get on because the cell phone line was too busy. So over 3 hours, we had 3 waves, and then in the end, I decided to. I was the only one in the Tokyo office from the leadership team, so I had to make a decision on behalf of leadership team. So after the third one, I decided to let the people go home as early as possible while some bus and traffics are still alive. Then for those people who cannot go home anyway because they're commuting from too far, I decided to open up some of the conference rooms. So that was a call that I made. It's 4 o'clock, no more wave, last 50 minutes. So 2 options. One is go home as soon as possible when the bus was still working. And then the second option is if you cannot go home, you make a decision to stay. Then in order to stay, you need to buy a dinner, whatever the reasonable cost, the company will pay. And if you need to go home, like they have kids at the daycare or something, you can go home by cab or taking a taxi. And then company recommend to take a cab together, like 3-4 people together to save a cost to that same direction. But reasonable cost, again, company will pay. So that people didn't feel, even in such a situation, if we say you can go home now, by cab, some people will start asking, should I pay for that, or company can pay for that. So we need to shut off those questions. We have to think of the possible questions coming, and then give them the answer up front, so that people can move on. People can start acting. So giving information upfront is very important. It was very difficult because I have 3-year-old girl, and then she was at daycare, and 2 o'clock when it hit, I was like, should I call up the daycare to make sure that she's okay? But I'm an HR director, so I cannot do that. I cannot do the private thing first. So I started calling up the Tohoku office people to identify them. And then my husband sent me an email saying that he could get off from the work, so he can go and pick her up. Don't worry. So that's why I could focus on just a business side to make a decision for our people. But it was very, very personally, it was very, very difficult decision. Just because of that hectic day, people got emotionally shocked, and it really didn't appear in the beginning. And even for me, within a week, I felt fatigue. Physically, I couldn't do anything for the weekend. maybe 3 weeks in a row. Yeah, Monday to Friday work, and then work as usual. Also do some extra work for the recovery. Then weekends I was totally passed out. That happened. So that year HR decided to do more communication from the top. Then held some fun exercise in a town hall, so that people can burst their emotions, fears, and so on. We also even did a yoga stretch in the office one Friday afternoon. And then the other people in operations, manufacturing, they were working 24 hours a day to find out the alternative materials. So those people are just tired because of the long work hours. So that's all about people who got affected emotionally, and also people who got physically tired due to extra work to keep running the business. From my past experience from 911, I learned that under the emergency situation, we need to do 3 things. One is to keep focus on business, so that it will take lots of attention from what's going on, of the disaster. That's number one. And then second, let the people busy with some entertainment, like a movie night or blood donation drive, and so on, so that your employees won't feel they're not doing anything, they're not contributing to any part of the recovery. So make them feel engaged in what's going on. And then the third one is they will get emotionally and physically tired anyway. Just listening to the depressive news every day, every moment, every hour is very stressful. So the third part is to give them some exercise, which is totally different from what's going on, so that they will feel, they will be detached from the disaster or depressive news and so on. I was observing how our employees feel. Then 3 groups. One is really depressed by whatever happened, even to the other people, but what happened. And second group was concerned, but want to keep focusing on their business or day-to-day things. And then third people are totally panicked. They don't know what to do. They even cannot come to the office with the radiation issue. They don't want to go outside, stay at home, and so on. So 3 groups. Then I think for those 3 groups, the crisis management 3 bucket worked quite well. Yes.
Oh, I see.
It was a very balanced approach for those 3 different group of the people. One learning from GSB worked very, very well. That is, in the end of the 2 years, there was a class telling us that one faculty told us that the reason why you came to GSB is to become a leader. No matter what the size of the organization is, you have, or non-profit or profit, doesn't matter. You gotta be a leader to lead people for the better life, or for the better things. So that's the reason why you spend so much money and energy to graduate GSB. I was really moved by that word. And then it just came to my mind that I could be a leader, because I have a lot of experiences and I can ask some of the expertise people in our organization to how to make a good decision for everyone. I learned a lot about leadership here, and especially when in the emergency, real leader will emerge. That's what I've learned. Leader needs to make a decision when they don't have enough information, when they don't have time, when they don't have a confidence, but still they have to analyze the risk and then take a risk by making a good decision, better decision, not the best decision sometimes. And then that learning really made a real experience in 911. But at 911, I was just watching those people who can exercise leaderships, ex-Navy, Army guys, doing a great job for 500 new consultants, including me. Then I was thinking, okay, this is how I exercise what I learned. And then this time, at 311, I was able to do a little part of leadership exercise. But HR was involved in determining when our salespeople can go back to Tohoku area to support their retailer customers. Okay, that is, they were stuck in Tohoku office, Sendai. Then company wanted to bring them back to Tokyo, their family and them to Tokyo once, okay, to just make sure that everybody's okay. I wanted them to see a company doctor, yeah. But many of our employees in Tohoku wanted to stay, even they don't have a lifeline. They are not, the supermarkets are not opening because their clients, supermarket people, got tsunami or lost some of the employees. They wanted to be close with their customer to support them. They were ready to go to the site to dig up the mud to clean up the store if the customer wants them to do. So it would be very difficult to understand by American people, but salespeople are building connections, emotional connections with their customers, retailer stores in Tohoku, so that they felt they cannot evacuate, leaving their customers behind without lifeline, without water, without gas. They wanted to suffer together. But company has to make a decision from employees' safety perspectives. So that I had to make a hard decision to order them to go back to Tokyo, come back to Tokyo for medical check. Two things, from the business perspectives and also Japanese pride issue. Okay, one business issue is if you leave your client when they are in hard time, when things get back, you won't get any trust from your customers. So you have to suffer with customer, and then so that you can get trust or gain the business. That's very Japanese way. And then secondly, just a pride issue that you don't like a samurai, you don't want to be a loser. You don't want to be the person who leave everything behind, just save yourself first. If the ship is sinking, you gotta be the last person to help out other people and then get on the tugboat. That's a really Japanese pride thing.